Hello, baby. Hello, everyone.
Is that your Christopher?
Christopher Walken.
We talk about my name's no, I can't do it. I was like, my name's Christopher Walken.
My name's Christopher Walken. Yeah, or what's
And I'm your special baby friend.
Hey, I'm Christopher Walken.
What does Luigi say?
I gotta dance up the walls right now.
What does he say in the Mario trailer? I know everyone with a mustache and a hat with the first letter of his first name on there?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Mario movie when it comes out, right?
Let's go.
Yeah.
At least he saved it at the end by going wahoo, which is like it almost sounds like they just took the real Charles Martinet like sound.
They should have. I still think they should have casted him as Mario. Though, you know.
Is he able to talk? Like here's
Yeah, he like E3 or whatever. I've seen videos of they set up like a booth with like Charles Martinet's inside or something, and they got
I see.
I guess a VTuber essentially Mario head.
Yeah,
where
it's
there's
like
tracking his face, and he like does insult comedy and stuff.
It's like at Disneyland with Finding Nemo, the turtle,
talking
Crush,
talking
yeah,
turtle?
Yeah,
Like,
talking turtle, talking
where the voice actor is just like behind the scenes.
Well, you know,
and
the
talking
first
people.
person to do that was Donkey in Universal Studios, where they would have a Eddie Murphy impersonator off screen, and he'd do like insult comic
animatronic.
stuff.
I thought the first
Donkey.
person to do that was the Wizard from Wizard of Oz.
Is the Wizard the first
historically.
VTuber?
Oh yeah,
The Wizard
recordings.
is kind of. I guess the Wizard is kind of a VTuber.
yeah, he
That's
was
true.
he
would.
has-
The,
yeah.
the Wizard of Oz is an e-girl. Everyone's saying this.
No wonder I get so horny watching that movie.
That show?
It's a show.
Yeah.
I guess there hasn't really been like there's certain properties, right, that they've never just redone as like a miniseries. Like I remember I think it was
Hasn't
before
there
where,
has was the Wiz a miniseries?
no
TV
that's
show.
no
No,
it's
I know.
like
I think there was. Okay, there was the Wiz Live. That was not a show. That was just a televised.
yeah, it's like Grease
thing.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I'm talking about like how the show Hannibal was apparently gonna redo Silence of the Lambs or like recap those events, which I think would have been really cool.
Oh wait, actually, did you know that there was a Prestige TV Wizard of Oz reboot?
Okay, that's what I was wondering about. I'm like, did
And
they
it's
actually do it?
called Emerald City.
Oh, I think I might have heard.
Yeah,
of this.
after being transported from Lucas, Kansas to the land of Oz, the 20-year-old Dorothy Gale sets out to find the wizard. So it is not like 20 years later she's returned or something.
Yeah, it's not the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I know that is something where it's like there's some like dark, gritty reboot where it's like I don't know, is that a sequel? I don't think it's a sequel written by L. Frank Baum, but it's like yeah, the witch has taken over and murdered the cowardly lion or something, and she has to come back and like kill that bitch or something.
Wizard of Oz 3, kill that bitch. I love it.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hey guys.
You know, we were actually talking about what the hell we were going to open up with, and we went
And
to
actually we
Christopher
came
Walken.
on the best intro of all time, so I think we really won.
VTubers. I was also gonna say to promote the Sonic movie. Ben Schwartz also
Of
did
course.
that. You know?
Oh, I thought you were saying we were promoting the Sonic movie, and I'm like, yeah, we should. Everyone, go see the Sonic movie.
It's weird. When my impression of Sonic is just me doing Jaden Yuki, which is just like a young like energetic guy.
Sonic's the name.
Yeah, Sonic's name, or like "Get your game on," which sounds like something Sonic would say, but that's actually Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So that's
Did they ever share the same voice actor? I'm curious.
Well,
I
could
don't
you do
think so.
Could you do a Jaleel White? Like, because he played Sonic in the TV show.
I don't think I can.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not Billy Crystal.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. There you go.
Can you dig it? I knew you could.
Can you dig it? We should watch that on stream. I don't know why we would, but just to show other people, maybe.
We got that. The episode of 30 Rock where Jenna can't watch that one.
Did that get removed?
Yeah, it got removed. I'm pretty sure.
You know, the one that I'm kind of sad about is the one that I'm sad about with Bob and David. There was episode 3. There was a sketch where he wore blackface, and they removed the entire episode. But I remember there were some funny sketches in that episode. I like Bob Odenkirk.
To be clear, that we're non-blackface, right?
Yeah,
non-blackface.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's just gone forever.
You know how like TikTok does like those stimulation Family Guy stuff where like it's like the Subway Runner
at once.
I just saw one. I mean, it's kind of blackface where like I think it's like an alternate universe. I think it's like they're like redoing Amistad or something or whatever. But I'm like, technically, like it's all the characters, but they're made as like African slaves. And I'm like, I think I vaguely remember seeing that as like a kid or like a teenager, but I'm like seeing it again. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is crazy, man. Yeah. Like, hey, could someone cancel Seth MacFarlane?
Hey, please. let's get Family Guy.
Seth. I mean, he does have like he's kind of like a Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Where his like girlfriends are like 25 years old.
Oh, I didn't know that. I figured he was dating crooners. Like Lady Gaga or something. I don't know.
Or like Norah Jones or something.
Yeah.
Norah Jones is a crooner singer, right?
She's probably. I don't know. I've just seen her CDs in like Starbucks mostly.
That is kind of what Seth MacFarlane sings like, right? Like that's kind of the Starbucks soundtrack. How would I score a Starbucks movie?
Starbucks the movie? Wait, what's the plot of Starbucks the movie? Is it like are we okay, so the plot of it could be maybe like about no, it probably wouldn't be about a love triangle inside like a Starbucks, because that would be like the corporate the Starbucks people probably wouldn't like that. That's not a good representation of the company. Maybe it could be like a You've Got Mail situation with like a Starbucks owner and then like a small coffee shop owner or something.
I have never heard You've Got Mail, about. Is that like a big
Oh wait, no, that I'm thinking of. Is that that is the one I'm thinking of. The Tom Hanks, like where he's the big bookstore owner and then he's evil or something. I saw that movie like once on TV.
I was gonna say maybe it's like The Social Network, but it's the creation of the pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, so I did watch The Shop Around the Corner, which is a Jimmy Stewart movie, which is apparently the basis for You've Got Mail. More recently than I've seen You've Got Mail. Pretty fun. But yeah, that's.
I've got so much mail.
That's right. But it's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and they're business rivals, but they're secret lovers.
Rivals to lovers, you gotta love it. Yeah. You gotta love her.
It was actually based on a Raylo story. It was based on a Raylo fanfic.
Have people talked about how he's like 30 and she's like 19? Like that's like that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, problematic age gaps in Star Wars.
But
like how old was Jabba and how old is Princess Leia,
I mean, well, that one, he's disgusting. So he's like, it's like saying like, oh, that serial killer, why didn't he go after people his own age? Like, no, like he's. If you're asking me who he should have killed, it should be people only around like plus minus 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
The limit is half your age plus 7.
That's how old. That's the youngest person you can kill.
Okay.
I know we're like running long on our cold open, but there are a shit ton of books that have like been adapted from Raylo fanfic. I thought there were only like 1 or 2 that I've heard of, but I saw like a definitive list, and boy oh boy, people cannot get enough of Raylo fiction right now.
I mean, is it like up to date as in like he's a Force ghost or something,
No, it's not like literally like Kylo Ren. It's like this.
Oh, you're talking like Twilight becoming like 50 Shades of Grey status, or like it's
exactly
where situation.
Yeah, where it's like the most popular one I think is about like scientists or something. They're 2 scientists, but there's also one that.
But their names are just Rey and
no,
Kylo?
I think they're. I don't know. I feel like they're different. They're probably what Rachel and Kyle or something. And
at that point, is it even fanfic? I guess if you're being inspired by a character.
No, I think what it was is like these people originally maybe like it was explicitly like posted on some fan fiction website as this is alternate universe, and then a publisher picked it up and said, listen, to avoid copyright we have to change this like 20% or something.
So you're talking like real books?
Yeah, these are like real books that have been published.
Real books.
You could buy them in a Barnes and Noble.
How about Real Girls?
Yeah,
you could buy those at a Barnes and Noble too now. Now that the woke left got a hold of it.
Wait, the woke left got a hold of it, so they're
now they're selling real dolls.
Okay, I get it now. Okay,
yeah.
I thought you were saying like that they couldn't or something. Never mind, it's fine.
That's right. Have we introduced the show? Are we
no, like, welcome. It's Style and Direction.
Yeah,
it's Style und Direction.
That's right. I'm Spencer DSO.
Yeah, I'm Ethan Wong,
and I'm MJ.
Welcome. This is a menswear podcast about the
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, Ripley. Welcome everyone. I thank you for for Kiyoshi, who's just tuning in at the 10-minute mark. Welcome.
That's right. We are pretty good at keeping it just to 10 minutes. I think. That's
we could have gone even crazier. But speaking of crazy, today we are talking about what is an occasion.
What is an occasion?
And I'm actually
I don't know. I don't know the definition of the word.
Tell me, please. What is that? What's that letter? O?
Occasion? Like moccasin, maybe? Is that how you're supposed to say it?
What is an occasion?
Yeah.
Oxen. How about like a little cow bison thing?
Yeah, that could be cool. We should get one of those.
Carabao. We're talking about what is an occasion, and I'm actually surprised we haven't talked about this. It's just something that has menswear media is kind of like built on this whole thing. We've been kind of talking about evangelism and like how and the tangibility of like, you get into it most by like touching garments and like learning, but not to retcon that, but like I think most people truly get into menswear by going, I don't have a thing, I don't have an outfit for this thing, so I need to buy a suit. I have a special event, and a lot of menswear is built on occasion, or it's become occasion wear.
And I mean, a lot of online fashion writing, and especially menswear writing, is based on like, what do I wear to this like wedding, like dress code and stuff like that, or what do I wear to work that is appropriate. And all that stuff. And of course, historically, most garments that we wear were made for a specific occasion and would only be worn on that occasion.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess before, to be clear, classic menswear was like the de facto like outfit, and so back then, the differences in occasion were like in the nuance, right? So like you would have like a business suit, which maybe has like a
pinstripes,
like a pinstripe or whatever, and then you would have a tuxedo is a type of suit technically, but it just has like satin, silk facings or whatever. So like, you would so for like dinner, if you were like a rich guy, obviously, then you would change into that.
One of my favorite things. Or sorry, finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say like that. You would, if you're going to the country, maybe you'd wear some like corduroy slacks, or like you would have like the and a worsted pinstripe wouldn't really work in the country. So. Mm-hmm. I want to say, like, this is kind of about dress codes, but more so about occasion. Because I think dress codes is like, we're talking about, like, these specific events. But, like, I think for this purpose, we want to talk about, like, what exactly is an event. Like, what spurs that thing of going, what do I wear to this?
No, but one of my favorite things about looking through old Esquire magazines, of course, love the illustrations. But reading the copy is also really fun. Because a lot of times... Yeah, they're like instructions or recommendations on how to dress for like the most specific like occasions or places. It's like, here's like what you wear to like a cocktail party at a ski resort in like Aspen or something. Like, and it's just like, wow, like there were specific rules for all of this. And I think something that we're going to get into now is, for the most part, other than like weddings, I guess, for the most part,
what are other occasions you can dress for?
This sense of occasion where people wear specific clothes for a specific event is kind of collapsed.
Yeah, well, it's funny because that's what makes most menswear media so dated, right? Like so much of it. I know a lot of writers, including us, like we've moved away from like, what to wear for this kind of a thing, but it is built on that, right? Like when one of the episodes that I really liked is when we kind of recapped the style symposium from Permanent Style, and again, never met Bruce Boyer. I all due respect, but he definitely was like, what has happened? I'm going to eat like this restaurant, and I'm there wearing like a sport coat, and there's a guy next to me wearing like ripped jeans. Like kind of talk like, oh, what has gone, what has happened to occasion, and I guess some people will also talk about how some people view certain things, like going out to a expensive meal, or like as in like not eating at home, not fast food. That's kind of an occasion. Should you dress for that, or how do you dress for that? But that kind of gets into that kind of gets to the whole thing of like maybe occasion just means like something special, like something that you intentionally do, right?
No, because we talk about this every episode where we get sad that not everyone is into clothes as we are, I guess. But I don't know. I don't 100% agree with Bruce, or at least maybe not his attitude. But I also do think it is like, I think there is something to like, obviously we had the going out episode. I think there's something to like something nice when you're doing something special. Like, it just makes the experience, I think, a little more special in my mind, at least when you're not wearing the exact same thing that you would wear, to like go to the grocery store.
Right? Yeah. So maybe let's talk about that. So like an occasion, like what level of special or out of the ordinary, out of the mundane, if you will, what would that be for you guys? Maybe MJ, you'll start it off. Like, what do you think like special occasions are? Maybe not even special, just occasion, like, or like a reason to like, just go. What do you think?
Well, the cop out is kind of like everything is an occasion if you make it.
I mean that we'll get to that later.
I don't know if that's a cop out. That's just that's a preview how like I think, or
how we think,
or three of us think. But like you were saying, going out to dinner, party as in friends parties, like it's gonna be at their house. We don't go to like
I think one of the big things here, right, is that we don't really have the same kind of events that other people do. Like I think like our friend Michael, right? He's a lawyer now. We can say that that's legal to say, and he can tell us that.
Legal.
He can prove it.
But like when you're in law school, like I think you have like the barrister's ball or some kind of like graduate version of that, and like that's kind of like a special thing that's really external. I think that's something that at least at this part in our lives, MJ, Spencer, and I, we don't really have an external, like no one's saying, oh, we have to go to this because of work. Like I'm not going to the fucking, what's the marketing awards? Like what
the Marquies?
The Marquies.
Yeah.
Like there's like a thing where like in Mad Men, right? Like their ads are up for some awards.
Oh,
like, we
yeah.
I don't
Clio?
have that.
Is it the Clio Award?
I think it's the Clio Awards. Yeah. Or like I'm not going to like VidCon or like seeing like or I'm not even going to like a premiere of anything. At least again, not at this stage of my career. So I don't really have a lot of external stuff. So I kind of like what MJ says, where like the parties that we go to are really events that we go to are kind of within our normal circles. So we're pretty privileged to have like a degree of freedom to kind of wear whatever we want and kind of co-opt it, or our friends are Aware. And so they kind of encourage that to happen, and we'll get into some examples of that later on.
It's same things like with even with when we go to concerts and stuff. Like there isn't really a hard like dress code or anything like that.
But
we still kind of like lean into into making like I guess applying our own dress code to stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think as we'll get into cinematic dressing, like we do have some parameters where we think of like what is appropriate for certain things. Or maybe not appropriate. Appropriate might be getting a little too pragmatic. Maybe like what just fits the vibe, like what just kind of makes sense naturally.
Yeah.
Spencer, what about you? I mean, any other thoughts you want to expand on, like special or like out of the ordinary?
I try to do something nice, I guess, for. Basically, anytime I'm like going out and seeing people, I guess. Where like, for the most part, when I'm at home, a lot of times I'll just, if I'm just like staying at home or whatever, I'll just wear like jeans and like a sweatshirt and stuff like that for the most part. And I still think, it looks cool. I still like wearing that, but when I go out, I want it to not feel like I'm just like hanging out at home and stuff. So that's when even if it's like something simple to like go to the bar by my house to like hang out with Mac or something, I try to put a little bit of thought into it and be like, okay, what do I want to wear to go to this bar, and like, what do I want people to see me in?
Yeah.
So I think there's obviously like there's levels to occasions of, I don't know. It's not necessarily like formality, but just like what the vibe is, I guess.
Yeah, no,
Which maybe
totally.
that is just kind of another
What's
way of putting
devolved to.
formality. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because hey, formality, that's a vibe. You know what I'm talking
That's
about?
true. Yeah,
It's
like to be buttoned up. I totally get it,
yeah.
right? Um,
Um,
so I here's something I've kind of little personal stuff about me. So I know I'm a little bit of an extrovert. I like maybe not extrovert. I like doing things, and what I've noticed, like most of our friends are not introverts per se, but I think we most of us are fine left up to our own devices. I feel like,
Mm.
and so I've always been kind of used to this idea of like if we want to go out, like again, not be at home. I have to instigate that, or I should suggest it, and obviously over time we've made friends who also invite us to stuff. But for a long time, I was kind of in that way, like other than Spencer, um, I was kind of just at at home or hanging out with MJ, the mall, playing video games in our house, and so I've always kind of felt this idea of like, well, an occasion really is just like leaving the house or just intentionally doing something that you're just not quote normally gonna do, and back in the day, like I would dress up with Spencer, like because seeing Spencer as a fashion friend, was a big deal to me.
mm,
Like it was something new. It was someone that we have a vibe together, and so it wouldn't be as weird as like me just being by myself. Even though I did do that, it just makes more sense. So like when on those days, on those weekends when Spencer and I would go to like a Benny's house to like shop or like go to Dapper Day or whatever, I would be like, okay, well that's an occasion for me. Like that's something that's not just me at home playing video games.
mm,
Um, and then of course now it's with the pandemic and everything, and we'll get to the collapse of dress codes, which honestly, it's not the pandemic's fault. I think it was happening before
it
that.
it's just kind
Um,
of accelerated now, probably.
yeah.
Mm.
I'm definitely the kind of guy who's like, well, I'm gonna make my own context. I'm gonna, especially if I like clothes. And I saw recently was Mark Cho was talking about how his watches are pets, and like
Okay.
like you bring them out, like they're with you, they're like a companion, and then like you wind them, you have to you treat them, you get them serviced or whatever. And even though clothes for me don't have like servicing, you know. I definitely think of them as like a companion for me. And so it's like if I see like going out with a friend as an occasion, I see in the same kind of way me wearing clothes as an occasion itself. It's like I'm
Mm,
choosing to do this thing. Um, like because I'm very aware that if I didn't have to, I would just wear pajamas all day, or I'd wear a t-shirt and jeans, and that could be a look too. But like if I'm intentionally doing something, like if I'm intentionally putting on an outfit, it's the same thing as me leaving the house. Like I don't have to
mm,
leave my house. You could Instacart whatever you want.
yeah.
You could people now. I still have friends who still go on Discord and watch movies. We still do that, every once in a while. And so it's like if you want to do something, you should just do it. And that to me is like the basis of an occasion. Like if you're going to the coffee shop is an occasion because I don't have to go there. Like I am choosing to do this.
Mm,
I don't have to go see Spencer if I don't want to. I could take a fit pick in my room if I wanted to, but I'm choosing to like go
mm,
out and expand and have wear on these clothes. And so yeah, for me it's always been like that, because otherwise if I didn't do that, it just wouldn't happen.
yeah.
Like if me and MJ weren't like, oh, let's like, hey, like let's go to the flea market. If we never initially did that, it would never be a thing, right? Like we just, why would we do it? So it's all about that kind of a thing. And I know we've written down, does an audience matter for an occasion?
Hmm.
I don't think it does. I think it's a type of occasion if you have an audience for certain stuff. But for me, again, it's not even, it's not even inherently about seeing another person. It's just something that it's like an activity at this
Yeah.
point. Going to the coffee shop or me going thrifting by myself, that's an occasion. And we'll get into later of how I dress to that, because sometimes I don't give a, like, as you'll find out, I don't give a fuck what the right thing is.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure if an audience necessarily matters, because as I said in the last episode, like I just I'm always like if you look good, you feel good, and so I
Yeah.
know that if I were to go to like a fancy restaurant, or go to like a nice, I don't know, an art gallery or something, or like, you know, something cool.
When's the last time we actually went to an art gallery?
Great question. But if I were to do something like that, or, you know, just go to like a nice cocktail lounge, like I would literally not enjoy myself as much if I was just wearing like a t-shirt and gym shorts or something.
Yeah.
Like there's, you know, of course, a lot of people say it's like, oh, you got to dress up to like respect the other people around you and show that, you know, you care about them. But it's also kind of a selfish thing where I want to feel good too.
Here's a good question. How often in advance do you know you're gonna do things? Because something in our Discord was like, because you know how I wear like one outfit a day, I don't really change. Someone asked like, oh, what would happen if you got invited to something last minute? And you know, you're talking here about going to the art gallery, going to a bar, a lounge. Do you know that at the beginning of your day, or even, you know, a couple days before, or is it random? Like, does that throw a wrench in like what occasion means? You know?
I don't know. I'm like I try to. I'm okay with a little bit of spontaneity with my plans and stuff like that. So there are, I don't know, a lot of times, unless it's like, I've never been sprung on, you know, like, hey, we're going to this steakhouse where you need like a reservation and stuff like that. Like,
I don't live that kind of life.
Drop everything right now and come over here. Like every time I've gone to like a quote unquote fancy thing like that, it's always been pre-planned. But I do get invited to like bars or restaurants and stuff like that last minute by friends, and if I feel like I need to, I'll change if I have the ability. But if not, I'll show up in whatever I'm wearing.
I mean, that's the kind of the cheat code. The cop out is like most of our clothes is good to wear out. Like that's the good part about classic menswear, and that's we're gonna move into the collapse of occasion. But I mean, like it's still, even though people still see us as like dressed up wearing like a collared shirt, it's still able to be like, oh yeah, like this is fine, you know. Like, it's still it's like elevated, and you know, again, lingua franca kind of a deal. I was gonna say that I also most of my stuff is pre-planned. Like, no, I've never been sprung out on anything. I think compared, like, I know you guys down there do a lot of stuff. I think up here nothing really happens unless I say, hey, let's go do this thing.
Because I mean, the other thing is like you're a lot more spread out up in
LA. LA is more sprawled out, so it's you know, it's more of like my friends to be ready whenever I'm like, hey, let's go do this thing, you know. Like and the thing is, I'm okay wearing whatever I happen to be wearing, right? So I'm fine, baby. Like you know. So, but yeah, let's talk about the collapse of occasion and dress code. So I think one of the reasons why maybe like I feel more emboldened to wear whatever I want is because nothing matters anymore. And we've talked about no context for a while, but like, again, like when you go to work and you see a guy like in a hoodie and shorts, it's like, okay, nothing matters. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not a bad. I'm not saddened by it. In fact, it makes me feel better because like if he's able to do that, and also maybe like your boss is wearing a sport coat, but the boss in the sport coat is clearly okay with this other guy wearing whatever, then I should technically be okay to wear whatever I want. I'm just I'm trying to logic this whole thing, but yeah, I think that definitely the collapse of occasion dress codes has only made my style like better. Like it's only or made me like be more comfortable. You know, like I think like now I'm closer to what I wore before. Like my heyday I think is like 2017, where like I was like very like Drake's and Ivy, which is probably like where I got more like started to get more attention. But now I'm like dressing like I did before that, when you and I were wearing like long spear point collars. Everything had a collar bar. Like I'm back to that, and I think it's because like I don't have to walk on anyone's toes anymore because like nothing matters, you know. Exactly. I'm in Zoom meetings with guys in sport coats and guys in pajamas. Clients are also wearing pajamas. Like nothing matters, and maybe that's because we're LA and like, you know, media people don't care, but like I've been like really okay with it. Especially, you know, going to like Bruce Boyer, like if a guy was wearing ripped jeans at a fancy restaurant, I could walk in wearing a fedora. Like it doesn't, like who the hell cares now, right? So that's how I see it.
I think I mean what was it, the New York Times piece that we were clowning on in our like Instagram the other day? Like where some guy it was talking about things that we're gonna look back on as cringe in the future, and some goes like, I think business attire is gonna be cringe because it's like, why do you have to wear certain clothes to like be professional or something? But I feel like at the same time you could be like, well, you're cringe, because what's the difference between like you wearing your fucking hoodie or fleece, whatever, and then me wearing like a sport coat? If I'm comfortable in it and I'm not being like an asshole, like what's the difference? Like functionally, like if you're viewing clothing as like this purely practical thing, then you shouldn't get mad at me wearing a different shaped jacket than you.
Yeah, it's honestly the same thing. And if you want to talk about like your necktie, I don't know. Like I mean, we people wear things that are not practical, have been doing that for the dawn of time. Adornment, whatever you want to call it.
I think like maybe this is like a I don't know if how this might be a little bit of an ahistorical take, but I think actually I don't think it is. I think people now kind of do just value comfort over anything else in clothing in a way that I don't think people in the past used to, because I think it was much more difficult to make clothes comfortable. Like it's super easy to like, it's like, I'm not gonna, like, we did a whole episode about practicality and all that stuff, but I'm not gonna come out here and say that like my like hard leather soled like loafers are more comfortable than this fucking like Nike thing that has been designed by scientists to like feel like you're walking on a cloud. But like I just like it better. And
I don't know. Speak for yourself. I actually find that this is the most hashtag Mesmer take. I actually like loafers over sneakers, and here's the reason. It's about the lacing on the vamp.
Okay.
So here with a loafer, it's looser, or because you just slip into it. But a sneaker, you tighten it. And again, maybe I'm tightening it too much. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel okay. I think I've alluded to it before. I have like sensitive feet, like and I know, and it's. I've learned like loafers are like the best because it's like there's less pressure like around my foot in general versus like a sneaker. Of course, walking, that's a different story. Like there's a difference between like having it on and like walking. But
I mean, I'll also say that like me personally, I am more comfortable in like loafers than like than I would be in like a pair of Asics or something. Just it's like there's the mental barrier too, where if that's like true. I'm just gonna be, if I'm wearing like an ugly pair of sneakers that are probably to most of the population more comfortable than the shoes that I wear, I'm gonna be less comfortable.
Yeah.
But my point is, I think that is now kind of the number one thing that people think about when they're not everybody, obviously, but the number one thing that most people who don't think about clothes very often care about when they're buying clothes is like how comfortable it is. And that's why,
I mean, yeah, that's why
there's the dress sneakers and like sweatpants and pajama pants that are designed to look like dress pants and shit like that.
Yeah. I hate that so much. It's kind of funny because it's like people want to be so comfortable, but the fact that menswear has been around for such a long time, people still view it as like you need to do it. It's like they begrudgingly wear the suit. But that's why with tangibility, if people. I make everyone touch my damn soft shoulders. I'm like, look at this, it's so comfortable, guys. Look how
Or
soft
that's my
this
favorite
is.
thing, where it's like when you're taking a guy shot, like I think we talked a lot about this on the tangibility episode. But if you're taking a guy shopping who's like never worn a suit before, other than like fucking like prom or high school choir or something, and like they hated it because it was like this polyester thing that didn't fit. And then you like take them to you're going through you take them to South Coast or something, and you're like, here, try this on from like Ralph Lauren or something, and it fits nice and it's comfortable, and they're like, wow, like it can feel like this, and you're like, yes, that's what I feel all the time.
It's like with anything, it's like people think that jobs have to be like crazy, and I think like at a certain point it's the fit at the job too. Like we're like, oh, I can have a boss who's actually like nice,
Yeah.
But yeah, like the ideas of like dress codes and stuff. I mean, again, it's tough being in LA where there really hasn't been. I mean, we were at the forefront. California's been at the forefront of the demise of dress codes for a long time. We've been so casual. So the Silicon Valley uniform. Like it's hard not to see. I'm sure like if you're on the East Coast and you're seeing like you can see it in real time of like guys like stopping dressing Ivy and like kind of being more casual. Like I could see how that could be a detriment, but again, for us, we're biased. We've been around this our whole lives of guys just wearing flip-flops, like again, we're in Psy, and I love everyone there, but like there are some guys who like going to a Psy event, like bowling or whatever is kind of an occasion, right? Because like most guys work from home, this is cool, and some guys like, well, oh, I'm seeing people, I'll wear like a floral button-up shirt, the classic like regular
Yeah.
guy. But of course, some guys won't do that. They're just doing regular stuff. They don't really have a and maybe this is the what this whole thing hinges on. It's like whether or not an activity that you're doing needs to have a look.
Mm.
And not saying that you change for everything, like okay, from morning dress to business attire, but I'm like like does seeing a friend warrant a different look, or is what you're wearing already okay for that? And I think that's kind of like the big thing, because if that's how we look at it, how I would look at occasion, I feel like I'm already dressed usually, and then I just wear that to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, like I think maybe like you said, like you have like a default home uniform, but then like once it becomes time to see something, like when you're about to leave, leave the door for something else, you'll change. Or do you think that you stay? Do you stay like the whole
it
thing
also
the whole time?
it also kind of depends on like what I'm doing, because again, like I
Okay.
said, even though it is just like jeans and like a sweatshirt, it's still like I've curated my wardrobe where it's a really cool pair of jeans and a really cool sweatshirt or something. And so like sometimes, like if I'm this is like more of, yeah, if I'm just going to like downtown, like the bar like 3 minutes away from my house, I might just like throw on like a jacket or something that I like over
Yeah.
that. But if it's like, oh, we're going to dinner and it's like, it's like going to be a bunch of people, then maybe I'll be like, okay, I'm going to throw on something a little bit different.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you, MJ? How do you separate like daily? Like, do you have a difference in daily attire to a certain occasion wear? And I know the answer is yes, but if you want to dive into that.
Um, Basically anything that is outside of like the usual working at the mall, or going to like appointments and stuff, right? Because I don't need to get dressed up to go to the allergist, to go to the doctor. But yeah, kind of like what Spencer was saying. We just kind of, again, I'm saying we because all three of us do this. We just kind of find the ways to make
Find
things.
the way.
Yeah, find.
Can
you show me the way to find occasion and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of a take it as you go sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I go back and forth. There are times where I say fuck it, here's what I'm wearing today, and then there are times where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dress for this. Um, and in some cases, I wear that thing the whole day. Like tonight we have Annie's birthday, and I'm wearing kind of like again, I could wear anything I want to this. Annie knows that I wear stuff, and she knows that I'm not gonna fucking wear like a fedora. Like she knows I'm not gonna be like too crazy. But most of what I wear would be appropriate for Annie, because Annie also likes fashion. She has a variety of friends who are into fashion, so whatever you wear, like it's definitely come as you are, but everyone's gonna have a look. And for this, like I could do Safford core, I could do whatever I want for this, but today I'm wearing like a dark jacket with like a dark shirt and tie, because it's like, it's dark, it's a nighttime thing, right? But I'm wearing it the whole day. I'm not wearing something early. I mean, if you want to count the pajamas I'm in right now, because we're recording this after we wake up, like that, like I don't know if that counts as a fit. I think I don't really count homeware, and by homeware I mean literally pajamas what I go to sleep in, as a look. Once I shower, I'll put on the outfit and I'll wear that the whole day. But there's also other times, like with Jay's, where like he said black tie, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna wear a tuxedo the whole day, so I'm gonna wear like a regular outfit, and then I'll change for that, And maybe that's what most people do, but I think for me, I'm more comfortable just wearing what I wear all the time.
Well, do you all like the other thing is sometimes I don't want to like fuck up the outfit. Because it doesn't happen.
Oh,
it doesn't happen.
Okay.
It doesn't happen often. It really doesn't happen often. I don't want to sound like I'm a big Three Stooges type guy or something. I'm a Three Stooges type guy, but like I don't know. I'm always like nervous. Like I'm doing that all the time. But I'm always nervous. Like if we're going to like a menswear event or something at 7 p.m. Like I don't necessarily want to wear my outfit like right when I'm getting dressed or something. Because what if I spill like ketchup or something on my pants or something, and then my outfit's fucked up? Or one time I wore my outfit that I was planning on wearing for like a nighttime event all day, and a bird shit on me.
No way, dude. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
When was this? Oh, was this like a mentor thing?
No, this was. I mean, this was like when I was after I graduated high school. Like my drama teacher or whatever there, she had me, like, I did costuming every time they did like a period piece.
Yeah.
And so that was like a nice way to make it a little bit extra money. And so one of the show nights, I was like, it was like, a couple hours before, and I was just like hanging out in my car or something because I just got pulled in the parking lot, and I was like sitting with like my legs partially outside of the car, and I felt something splat, and there was bird shit, and I had to go home and change.
Oh my god!
But like, I'm always worried about stuff like that, or even something simple like, I don't know, maybe like, I guess this is tougher for me because I'm always coming to events in LA, but like long car drives, your pants could get wrinkled and shit like that.
Oh, and who cares at that point,
I just don't want a bunch of ugly crotch wrinkles in my fit pics.
Sure. I think that's more for you because you wear gabardine pants.
That's true, yeah.
And I think those show wrinkles a lot more than like a flannel or something.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, like the different materials that you happen to wear could affect, how things come off. Okay, here's the thing. You just said like, oh, you're in the car ride. For me, maybe because it's LA, if I leave my house, I'm not coming home till I'm going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm used to just wearing my outfit the whole time or bringing it with me, like, and I did for Jay's thing. I happened to be out, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna go back home because I'm already closer to MJ to pick him up to go to Jay's birthday, and so I just brought my tuxedo in the car and I changed at Annie's house, and so like there is that aspect I think of like, well, it's a practical thing for me to like to not have to like do multiple outfit changes. I know like in New York, some of the guys, they can go back to their apartment, right? They can do that, or they bring their outfit with them to work because they have giant closets because they work in menswear, right? So they have the ability to do that. But for me, it's like once I put the outfit on, and I've said this before, like I'm gonna wear this the whole time. So like, and because I know that, I think I definitely feel like, oh, I'm special. And to me, like I said earlier, wearing an outfit is a special occasion for me, because if I'm not wearing an outfit, I'm either doing something that I don't want to do, like sleeping. If I didn't have to sleep, I would just keep living, man. I'd keep going, or I'm sick, right? So it's like I count, not to be like the count every day is a blessing kind of a thing, but like I like the idea that like, oh, I've accomplished making this outfit. Like that's like enough for me. I don't know if that's like a weird philosophy thing of like just staying positive or seeing like seeing like the bright sides of life and like just enjoying every little thing. But I definitely do that. And so, and because of that, I definitely like think of like some of the activities I do as like an event. I think I said this earlier, but like, when I see an event inside going like, oh, hey, who wants to go to the boba shop today? I'll be there 3 to 5. Like, okay, well, if I've got time, I'll go to that because that's like a fun thing to do. I can still do my regular life stuff, but I'm going out. It is an occasion, to go get boba. Or, hey, MJ, we just heard about, we've been to an art gallery together, and like, hey, we just, Isabel just sent me this thing. You want to go check it out, and that's like an occasion. And MJ and I know that we're gonna be out all day because we're gonna get dinner afterward. Maybe we'll see Isabel. Probably take the opportunity to say, hey, we're still out. Who wants to go get drinks? Now you've got a whole day, right? And now you're like, okay, well, what am I going to wear for that whole day? Because again, otherwise I'd just be home. I'd just be home the whole time. But to go back to the idea of how do I make edits to something that has an occasion? I think for me it depends exactly on what I'm doing. Usually, at this point, because I make outfits before I even plan my week, I definitely think occasion comes afterward. And I'm talking about like for a kind of a good example is I thrifted this dark jacket. I got a gray herringbone jacket. That's what I'm wearing to Annie's birthday tonight, and I thrifted it earlier this week, and I got it back from the tailor, and I'm like, okay, I want to wear this week. And I'm like, okay, it kind of like lines up with like Annie's birthday. And if you guys have seen the French Dispatch, I'm talking to the audience, he wears a herringbone jacket with like a dark shirt and dark pants. I'm like, oh, well, that's also like what in my head of like what a going out outfit is. So I can kind of co-opt that, and wear it that day. And it worked out now because my friend's like, hey, do you want to have lunch in downtown LA? I'm like, okay, cool. So like this kind of French Ivy thing that I'm going on, that I'm wearing to a dinner thing, also now works to go to downtown LA and have lunch. If I just wear it with a cat eye frames, I've got the whole fit for the whole day. It works for everything. That's how it works for me.
It just works.
Or there are times where like I'm dressed up in like like I wore like a composer-esque outfit. I wore like a DB sweater vest, a pinned collar with like my big circle glasses. I look like again like a composer or some kind of intellectual. And I was having a rough day at work, and I kind of wanted to get my mind off it by going to read. I'm like, okay, well this kind of fits to like go to a coffee shop or get boba in the evening and kind of just kind of look studious. And it's not that I'm doing it because of that, but like it just kind of works out. Like the occasions kind of find themselves for me. And so like there's a little bit there where like, okay, like some outfits are just more attuned to certain things. When I make an outfit, because I make outfits in quick succession because everything just inspires me all at once. I think I made an outfit again with like a dark shirt, dark tie, sweater vest, and a dark suit. It kind of feels going out, and I put that. I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing this week? Well, I know I'm going to trivia. That's kind of like a going out thing. I know it's not super like fancy, but there is like this, having a drink, having a bunch of friends, having a fun time. I think the dark suit, works for that. Even though it's maybe more quote formal for the like a dive bar like my local pub, it kind of makes sense compared to like it. To me, it makes more sense than wearing like a super trad outfit. Like that might be a little too not edgy enough. I can just wear that on a Monday where I know I'm not doing anything at all. Like I'm just writing, and we're doing the podcast, we're streaming, whatever. So that's kind of how I parcel out like my differences in attire for certain things. It kind of is like Esquire Man in a sense, where like these like small events that I do have like a small outfit for that kind of a thing. And maybe that'll go to like cinematic dressing a little bit. Like these different characters make sense. Like, okay, like, certain trivia nights have like the going out look, and certain trivia nights have like the more Ivy look. Like sometimes I just feel like doing that. It kind of makes sense. Am I the cool French Ivy, intellectual guy going to trivia, or am I like the brown professor, like going in and like playing trivia with like the mates?
Those types of people do love to do trivia. The French people love trivia.
and Ivy League
and
professor.
The brown people.
Hey, I'm a brown boy.
Yeah, that's why I could say it too.
Yeah, Spencer can't say that.
I can't say that.
But like or like there's I do think of like these kind of small characters, and I think again because of the fact that we make our own context, I think there's a lot of leeway to like kind of play into it, right? Like if I got inspired, for example, to make an outfit, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I also haven't been to the Getty in a while. I want to see what their photography exhibit is. I might spur that, or it might go both ways. Where I'm like, oh, photography exhibit, okay. Well, I haven't done like a dark artist outfit in a while. Maybe that'll inspire me to do that. It goes for me. It goes back and forth. But what about you guys? Where does the character come in? How do you do you plan stuff out? I know we kind of talked about that a little bit, but.
I think I wish I had a more material answer for this, but it is really just about like trying to fit the vibe, and it's a thing that we talked a lot about in cinematic dressing.
Are you making these occasions? Like, are you inviting people out, or are you being invited? I think that kind of plays into the character of like which one you want to be, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of times. I mean, I think it's a healthy mix, I guess. It depends on also like which group of friends, I guess. But
really,
I don't know. I don't necessarily think there's like that much of a difference between me. If I'm
we talked about this the previous episode, right? Like it's you entirely, right? The reporter style, like you're kind of always in that
exactly.
mode.
Like the only time that would make a difference is if I'm hosting something at my house. I think then maybe I'll like think to dress like a little bit differently than if I was just like attending something.
Yeah.
Because in that case I would be more willing not to like just fit the vibe, but to like set it, I guess.
Yeah.
To be like, no, this is the ruler by which all of you should be measured or something. But
I wonder if people think about that for me, because like not to be again, not to say that I'm the instigator here, but like I know for most of the time I'm like I usually get an idea to get inspired. And hey, maybe people need to think about this. Like I know like I'm always texting everyone like, hey, you guys want to go to this bar? Like I think that's how outfits work for me. Like I'm like it just happens. So that might make sense for a lot of people now. Anyway, Spencer, continue.
I mean, that was basically it. Where it's like I said, I just if I'm going out to like a bar or restaurant, like I'll think like what kind of bar or restaurant it is, and
Yeah.
like what do I want to wear in that particular environment.
Yeah.
So obviously that's going to be different for like I keep using this example, but if I'm going to like one of the bars around my house, which they're not like dive bars, but they're like like you can
It's like
get
your
a beer
local.
for
Yeah.
you can get a beer for like $6 or something. Versus like if I'm going to like a place where I'm gonna be fucking spending $20 on a cocktail,
Vacation bar or whatever.
yeah, or like the like there's a couple places, or like that's where the difference is gonna be. It's like just what do I want to wear to this environment, I think.
Or what does the character of Spencer wear to that? I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what I've been realizing is that I'm the character of Ethan. Like, I don't think I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a professor. I think it's more so like, the character is Ethan, a man who loves clothes. So, what would a man who loves clothes wear to this thing? And it would be most likely like a professor for this thing, right? Like, I think like it's not like I'm not trying to cosplay professor. It's just that I have all the clothes, and so like if for this thing, it's like a composer. Like I'm not a Western composer. I'm not a jazz composer, but like I'm a composer, and so for this scene, I'm going to write jazz for this. I'm going to write a fanfare for this, but the tools are all the same. I have the whole keyboard. I have the entire orchestra, and you can make unlimited genres of music with the orchestra. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, it's inherent that I have to have all these clothes because it's like they're all like notes on they're all like notes on the keyboard or keys on the keyboard, and so it's just when I have the inspiration or the reason to dress up, then it's like, okay, what am I going to create that fits the scene? I'm scoring life with my clothes. That's the whole to come full circle to the damn film score thing. But what about you, MJ? I mean, invited versus attending, and kind of creating that context with your character.
Well, first I want to say that Spencer's line about the ruler is like.
Do you want to dictate that?
No, it's like the coolest thing that we somebody said on the episode so far. The ruler that which you shall be measured.
We don't like to try that, right? We don't want to dictate what people wear.
No, I don't like to dictate, but it's like setting the theme,
And people do ask us sometimes, right? We're like, I mean, I think here's the thing. We want to talk about real dress codes and occasion. I think I wrote this in the black tie for Jay's party, but I definitely wrote how Jay is more attuned to like what exactly fits than we are, and that could be because. Jay's nice. He's obviously a more corporate guy than the rest of us. So I think he does have to be more cautious of like a sense of occasion. Like he doesn't want to go too wild. Yeah. But I know every time I know when we ask what are you wearing, it's more so just we don't want to wear the same thing. But I think when Jay's asking, he's like trying to find out what the vibe is. Yeah. And I think that's interesting because like we really don't give a shit. Like there's like when we hung out after, I think like we're like MJ and I, we were wearing kind of black tie inspired because of like we went to watch the opera, or no, we went to see the Phil, and then Spencer comes in wearing like jeans and a barber jacket, and like we don't care. Like Spencer doesn't care that he's underdressed compared to us, and we don't care that we're overdressed. But I know that like Jay was like, okay, like. What am I going? Like, am I dressing based on Spencer? Am I dressing based on you? I'm like, and we always have to be like, it doesn't matter. Like wear whatever you want,
Yeah.
But that's because our occasion is our individual thing.
Yeah.
Going back to the original question, I feel like I'm still experimenting and trying a bunch of different stuff.
Okay. You're trying to find out what fits for the different occasions of your life?
I mean, not just that, but kind of like it's like loosely based on what you were saying, or like having a like loose like flow chart kind of thing where it's like
okay.
I have all these clothes and it's like, oh, and I'm going to like, whatever. And it's like, okay, so I kind of have like, these to choose from within this context.
Shaka shaka shaka.
Yeah. Excuse me.
You just pulled the Tay-Zonde.
I'll edit that out. Future
you're gonna keep that one in.
Yeah. Where was I going with it? But
you have all the clothes. You have like your collection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like instead of like, Milsurp cosplay or like preppy cosplay. It's kind of like, if the character of MJ is going to this thing, it's like what version of that am I making? Which one am I gonna do today?
This honestly reminds me of the loadout thing you said earlier, because it's like, I don't know if anyone here plays video games listening, but like, when we play Search and Destroy, you might not want to be the quick scoping guy, right? Like you want to make sure that your gun is able to commit to the kill. But okay, so maybe you're playing hardpoint. Like there's different game modes, and like you have at a certain point, if you've played the game enough, you've unlocked every gun and every attachment. So it really is up to you to define how you want to play it. Are you gonna, like, for me, no matter what game mode, I'm actually gonna quick scope. Like that's me. That's my guy. And so I say fuck the context. I don't care if, like, because if it's okay, in Search and Destroy, you have one life, you don't respond. So if you miss your shot, you're gonna die. So quick scoping is a quote difficult thing to do, or a novelty thing to do. So it's like, I am aware that I am at a disadvantage, but I'm still gonna do it because I think quick scoping is cool as hell. And so like that honestly explains so much about me. Film score and quick scoping, it's my life. But I like that idea of like, you have all of this. And that's not to say that people need to have a giant wardrobe. I think people should look at their wardrobe as like a collection, and then have fun making certain things. I think that's a more interesting way to think about clothes versus like, I only have this. I think that's why it's like, when we talk about archiving or outfit repeating, for me, it's like, I don't think you should rely on just your tried and true combination. I think when you look at your closet, even if it is minimal and versatile, you should try and like experiment with what you have and create new things. That's just how I think about it. But how about we finish off here by talking about situations that we've had, like specific ones, maybe stuff that where we've been overdressed, like where our sense of occasion is definitely different than other people's sense of occasion, or where we kind of define it, because I'm sure we have lots of stories on this. Spencer, can you think of an occasion recently that you've attended, like a specific one, and the outfit that you made? Let me think.
I don't know.
I like how you started as Yoda there.
I feel like I do this. I kind of did this when we went to the Scum and Villainy bar.
Yeah, tell me about this.
So that was, I started out.
Yeah.
It was mostly like, it started out where I just wanted to wear that specific jacket, which I got for free at the Rose Bowl flea market. It's like a 60s or early 70s Western sport coat, but it's 3-roll-2, and it's got button pocket harmony, and it's some Western jackets don't have that. Yeah, and it's like this really nice like camel corduroy, and it's that was like kind of the starting point where I'm like, I just want to wear this jacket, and then I was like, how do I fit this into a Star Wars vibe? And I was like, I could do something that's like vaguely like 70s. And then I was like, I've seen pictures of like, George Lucas on the set of Star Wars wearing like a corduroy jacket and jeans and a plaid shirt and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, I'll just do something like that. I do this a lot. There's a theater by me, the Frida, that has a bunch of like classic film screenings.
Yeah.
And usually whenever I go to those, even if I'm just going like by myself, I try to put together an outfit that's like thematically appropriate, or at the very least something that looks like, an outfit that's like kind of like inspired by whenever the movie came out. So when I did something, I saw Poltergeist or something, and I wore something that was like pretty like late 70s, early 80s. Or when I saw Strangers on a Train, I wore my tennis sweater because one of the main characters, Guy, his name is Guy.
Yeah, it sounds like you're dressing. The occasion really isn't about the activity that you're doing.
Yeah, because
it's about the thing you're consuming.
Yeah, and it's like, I do, we just had the whole episode. It's like I do have a very specific way that I dress, like for work and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
But as we talked about, since like, how often do you get invited to something with an explicit dress code? Like that almost never happens.
Yeah.
Or if you do, it's like it's a pajama party or something, or like wear blue, and that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I sometimes I don't think I get decision fatigue, I guess, but
Or anxiety.
Yeah, but it's just easier for me to like put some parameters or put some like guidelines, some like rails on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just for my own benefit, because otherwise, like, I don't know. It's just easier for me to put together an outfit if I have an idea, like a guideline in mind.
Yeah, I think on the Star Wars bar. So the first time I went the first time ever, I wore a Star Wars T-shirt. It's an occasion to wear my Star Wars T-shirt because that makes sense. And the second time I went, I dressed like a Jedi because I wore saffron core, but a little bit more like grounded with like earth tones, like a little bit more like, like less elegant, more like just like wearing layers and like the robe kind of aspect, and that kind of made sense. It's an occasion to do that, and then so the most recent one that Spencer was talking about. I dressed as Han Solo in Solo, which is just black jeans because in Solo he wears like black Carillion pants, with black boots, and then a brown and black leather jacket with like a black shirt. And for me, I always like an opportunity to like or an occasion, if you want to call it that, to be casual, because for me my default mode is wearing a tie. So like if I know that there's something casual or like something edgy or whatever, I'll take the opportunity. And so I will for that one, because I knew that more of us were going, and I, the previous time I had gone there I wore, robes. This time I wore like my brown leather jacket, I wore black jeans, my like 501s, and my black boots.
I'm looking at pictures of Solo now.
Yeah,
I could you could do like a 1940s Woody Harrelson with like a denim jacket and like a Jeep coat or something.
Oh yeah.
Because he is wearing denim. I think this is the first time we've seen denim in Star Wars. But
do I look up what's his name again? Dang it! No, don't
but
tell.
You zoom in and it is a denim jacket.
Is it? Oh my god! Oh yeah, his name is Tobias Beckett.
Tobias Beckett.
Oh yeah, it's even got like pleats and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, and you just throw a Jeep coat. That's basically his jacket.
Yeah. Anyway, that was like a little
Star Wars digression.
Yeah. But if we're talking about something we're invited to, I mean, we had Jay's birthday party, and again, like I wrote about, like Jay definitely likes occasion. He's the guy behind Friendsgiving. And and he, historically Friendsgiving has always had like an upscale casual. I don't know how he defines it, fall casual, or if not, fall dressy. I don't know. He likes to make events that people can dress up for, at least for Friendsgiving, where it was encouraged to like wear a sweater, wear like a sport coat or whatever. Like we all wear ties because that's what we do. And then for like his other parties, like Friends Must, like that's more casual, but for his birthday he wanted to go all out and wear black tie. He even bought a tuxedo for it. And for that one, see, for me, as I wrote about in my article, I didn't want to be the star of this, right? Like this is Jay's night. I am not. I say that by I wore a white dinner jacket, but I could have gone like saffron core, like kind of more crazy creative black tie, but I didn't. I wanted to be like more conservative or traditional black tie. And so at the end of the day, Spencer wore a full tuxedo. He didn't wear like the previous year we had like a fancy dinner where like we wore like Spencer wore like his silver belly with a dinner jacket,
the Ralph Lauren
with jeans and cowboy boots. Yeah. And that one I also wore a robe on top of my black tie, but this time I did like normal, and MJ also wore a black tie for that. And I think, like I said, I'm the one mainly who instigates things, so I kind of have a say in like how dressed up it is. And even at Star Wars bar, like we decided to do that like early that week. I think maybe like compared to other people, we're like, oh, you can just go like the next day or like that same night. When you make a plan, like for us, it's like, okay, well, in 4 days we know that we're gonna go to this bar, and so that does give like a little bit of time to kind of like think about like, okay, what do I really want to do for this? What sense of occasion do I want to do? And of course, when you're in the menswear chat, we're already spitting ideas. Like I'm gonna look like Han Solo. Like I already said that, in my group chat. But there are definitely times where my sense of occasion is is challenged. And not like normally I'm okay with subverting it. Like going to a Psy event where someone goes to boba or like someone goes to dinner. I'm wearing a suit because that's just what I happen to be wearing that day. I don't want to change for anyone else, you know. But there are times where when I'm doing something there, you know, where the context does change and the occasion changes because I didn't plan for it. And here's a good example, or I have two good examples. Number one is the one I've said all the time, where I went to work and it's a normal work outfit, and that day I happened to be wearing a bow tie and a peak lapel jacket with a Conscious Club Clara shirt. And at like 4:00, Spencer goes, "Hey, I'm actually gonna be in LA with Jay. We're gonna have drinks. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "No." Because and maybe now I would do it because I feel like, you know, before with my undercut hair and my neat stuff, and I was like, you know, I was like only like 22 or whatever, or 23. I definitely look more goofy, but now with like a mustache and like the longer hair, I feel like me wearing a bow tie is kind of sick as hell. Like to get a drink, you know, I don't care. But back then I was kind of concerned of being a little out of place because my sense of occasion would be different than other people. Here's one that happened literally the day before recording. I knew that we were gonna go to you know, Psy, or this Asian American group was gonna go have drinks at this bar called Sip. It online Sip. it says a alcoholic boba lounge, and I go, okay. I have been to places that kind of do that. There's a place called Factory Tea Bar, which doesn't do alcohol, but like it feels like a bar. By then, it's just like playing music. But it's a boba place. You can wear whatever you want. You know, it's like a coffee shop that might serve a cocktail, whatever. So okay, I had already planned on wearing my purple corduroy suit sometime this week. I decided that early on. I'm like, okay, well, what if I wore with like a chambray Fair Isle sweater with a pair of boots? It's kind of like fun, you know. It's like a, you know, Spencer and I've gone to a bar where like rugged ivy kind of makes sense, you know, whatever. And I got there and it's totally fine. Like there was like no one there. I got there like at 7. It's like a very casual post-work hangout. You know, guys are there wearing like khakis and a button-up shirt because people got off work. Some people are there wearing like there's an Asian guy wearing like a coat, you know, not the camel coat MJ, but like just a long coat, slim pants, scarf, you know, black button-up shirt. You know, you have some people we know who like to dress up, and some people actually said like, oh, like, yeah, I wanted to look nice because, like, you know, going out after work is like a fun thing, you know, or whatever. Like, that's really cool. Some guys actually wanted to talk about occasion. What I didn't realize is that at 10 o'clock, it turns into a club.
Oh, no.
Like, and I'm talking like a K-Town club. And at first I was like, okay, like maybe there's like a DJ or whatever. I saw like the bartender, like the girls behind, like, you know, the girl bartenders change into their bottle girl service outfits, like literally like a one-piece bathing suit with like tights or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right. They start saying, hey, you guys can't sit here because now it's a table, and they put the fucking, like, it looked like a regular bar with like booze, and then when it became at 10 o'clock, they start putting like the velvet rope because like you have to reserve a table, and I'm like, Jesus. Okay. And then the DJ comes in, like his entourage is there, and ABGs just keep coming. I'm like, and the Kevin Wins and everything, and I'm like, oh shit, like, and me and James is. Here's the thing, you know, where again, I have a variety of looks. If I'm okay wearing rugged stuff or trad to like a bar because, again, I'm thinking like trivia night or like whatever. It's fine. It's kind of hipstery. But if the night goes into more going out territory, maybe I should have worn like boots or like jeans, you know, like kind of a husband's look. And my friend James, his only menswear style is husband's inspired. Like he wears sport coat, white shirt, like flared pants and boots. Like that's his only look. Like he does that, he'll add a knit tie if he has to, you know. So he's fine, you know. Maybe he's a little bit too edgy for, you know, a trad event, but that's still kind of cool. But for me, you know, again, I'm there. I was surrounded by this, you know, loud music, you know, these girls dancing, guys, like, you know, every so often the bottle girls would come out because someone ordered a fucking champagne bottle. They have fucking sparklers and a sign, and I'm there in a purple corduroy suit and a Fair Isle vest. And here's the thing, it's cold.
It's so cold.
I'm inside now. I'm holding a duffel coat, and I also bought a magazine at Kinokuniya, and I'm like. Again, I'm fine. It's funny. I have more confidence now to do that. But it's just, you know, I was finally in a spot where like my sense of occasion was like subverted by an external force that I was, and maybe I should have looked up the Instagram of the place. I had only heard of this place. I'm like, oh yeah, there was like a cosplay meetup at the Sip Boba Lounge. I'm like, okay, there's been cosplay meetups at regular places. I feel like it doesn't have to be like a bar, and it's at Weller Court where Curry House used to be. That's not the spot of Little Tokyo where the bars are at. That's just where like restaurants are at, and so like it really took me by surprise, and so that's a good example there. But other than that, usually I'm like subverting stuff. Like I make my own occasions, right? Like I think there are times where I like, you know, when I'm inviting them, like, hey, I wanna go out, let's wear this, or I'm gonna wear this, feel free to do with that. Or there's stuff like going to the Philharmonic where I want to honor the Phil, you know, by wearing my best outfit, which is usually some kind of black tie inspired. Other people attending the Phil don't do that, you know, but I think it's fine that I do it because I want to feel special, and I think that me seeing music, you know, live like that, and something that I've never done before, is a special occasion to me, you know. Or like, you know, when we went to like, and things kind of become menswear events because of that, right? Like I think, and I know Spencer talked about it before, I think our menswear event is just when we hang out versus like in New York we're like, oh, J Press is hosting something or whatever. Our menswear events is, oh, the collection of friends who happen to be going are more menswear than the people who are not menswear. So it's like it de facto becomes that. Like I think of when we went to the Huntington, and like all of us who went were dressed up because that's just what we do, and then we got food afterward and drinks, and the friends that happened to be free were also fashion guys like Marco and Johnny and Andy, who were also happened to be wearing exactly what they were wearing the whole day, which was like a nice outfit or a cool outfit, you know. And so if anything, I feel like I want people to be encouraged to kind of create their own context. I don't know what people, you know, what people live at, you know. Again, for us, we definitely have a lot of lead time for anything, so we have that to kind of fall back on, of like, you know, if I was aware of the Sip Lounge becoming a club, maybe I would have worn the purple corduroy suit, but maybe I would have worn like my black gabardine shirt, or like done like, you know, and wore boots and like sleek loafers, and I could have kept the same similar vibe, but like, you know, just dress it up a little bit, you know, versus you know, wearing trad or like basically wearing like ALD or Drake's to like this kind of thing. And it's kind of like a contrast to the one time I went to like a work event where that night I happened to be wearing like black loafers, an open shirt that was striped, and like a navy suit. And then I met up with Annie afterward, and we went to a club, and like that kind of works out as like a club outfit, like a, you know, dark shirt, dark suit. And so, you know, with classic menswear, obviously if you're into this, you'll be more safe for most things. There's only the very rare times where you'll be completely out of place. But I think encouraging people to kind of make their own context is a lot of fun. And I think that's another way to kind of enhance the hobby. I think because I don't want to speak for Spencer and MJ, but I think I know the answer. Where like, because we like outfits or clothes, we definitely take the opportunity as much as possible to kind of create something. You know, like we'll get a hankering. Like I know Spencer, like, okay, if he knows he wants to wear this like Western jacket and the Western stuff looks good for going out, maybe he'll get inspired to go out that week. You know, and I think for me, I'm the same way where I'm perfectly capable of wearing outfits at home, but I definitely take the opportunity to go, okay, I want to wear this. What can I do to like that, you know, that inspires this? Or what can I do with my life to kind of do this kind of a thing, you know, where I feel more comfortable going out to coffee shops because I feel like I look good and I feel good. So I can leave the house, I can do this whole thing versus like, oh, well, I could just save money and stay at home. Like, no, I think going to a coffee shop is an experience. But what does that experience require of your outfit? Or what do you want to take advantage of, you know? But yeah, hopefully this makes sense for all of the rest of you guys listening. We're going to include so many photos of the different stuff that we do. And maybe some of the pictures will show how out of place we are for what we're doing. And some of them will show how on theme we are. Like Dapper Day, I think we're perfectly on theme, you know, or again at Trivia Night where I'm wearing, you know, a full suit and the bartenders are wearing t-shirts and whatever. And it's totally fine. I think also we've been pretty good at like just being nice people, so we never like, we're not like the snooty people who are like, oh, I'm so dressed up compared to you or whatever, you know. I think that's one attitude to have when creating your own context, because like again, like we said earlier, we're not dictating what other people wear. This just happens to be what we've decided to wear, and it should free people to join in on that or to create their own occasion, like my friend Kayla, where when, you know, she wore her hospital gown to with clothes underneath to trivia, or she'll wear like a French maid outfit or whatever. Like she's got her own occasion, and maybe like trivia is her opportunity to wear whatever she wants, and so she takes advantage of it fully. You know, I love it when people show up to out hanging out with us and take the opportunity to wear whatever they want. Because sometimes for some people, you know, going out for that coffee is the only thing you do that day. I know for me sometimes it is, like, or at least like when I leave the house. Like I know that when I go to do boba, it's just like, you know, like the 2 hours I have to myself to like be outside and to read, and I'm like, well, that's special to me, you know. Or having, you know, it's like a date with yourself, you know, or like, you know, or going on a date with Isabel, I'll dress up for that, you know, or going thrifting, etc. These are just, everything to me is an activity, it's an occasion, and I want to dress for that.
You want to dress. Yeah. I don't want to. I think I've maybe talked about this before.
Yeah.
But my reoccurring nightmare is not that I wake, like I'm in class like naked. It's always that I'm like Winnie the Poohing it, where I only have a t-shirt, and I feel like that's worse. And that's, you know, that's my deep underlying fear of just not being prepared for the occasion. Because what's less prepared than wearing just a pants. T-shirt and not wearing any pants or underwear?
Yeah.
So partially prepared is worse than.
I think it's just you have less dignity if you only have a t-shirt. Is I think why I'm so scared about it.
I mean, for me,
because you didn't make it all the way.
Here's the thing: if I leave the house, I'm fine. My thing is, what happens if I like something happens where I'm in my house and I'm like not wearing, I'm taking a shit or something, right? It's like it's the whole dorm room thing where like again like the fire alarm goes off and you're not wearing or pants or something, you know.
And it's the worst case scenario.
That's the worst one. I never think about being under overdressed. I think it's also I'm like a fun guy. I'm always gonna be fine. Like I'm like that's my secret, Doc. I'm weird. Like that. I think that's the thing. Occasion doesn't matter when you're just a weird guy. You know?
No amount of quirkiness is gonna make just the t-shirt look okay.
Exactly. Yeah. But any amount of quirkiness will make a suit okay. You know, like you're just that guy. Any other thoughts, MJ?
Any other thoughts?
You pretty much, well, both of you said it all. Embrace the cringe. I know we talked about
Embrace it, baby. Yeah.
I know we talked about that one article that was like, ties are cringe because they're unnecessary pieces of fabric. The whole time. Yeah. It's like it's not that serious.
I posted a GIF of me winking from 2012, man. Like nothing gets more cringe than that.
Yeah.
So well, thank you guys for listening. I hope this helps you guys with making your own occasions. If not, go fuck yourselves, I guess. Yeah. Well, you know who can? You know who can't? Yeah, you know who can't fuck yourself? Our patrons. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. You go patreon.com/downdirection if you guys want to support the podcast and blog and our very rare streams. We appreciate it. $5 a month gets you access to our Discord and our bonus episodes. For this month we're doing Chinatown, which is really great. MJ's first time, right? So. Yep. Well, we're going to get to that. But yeah, if you guys want to hear us talk about that, $5 a month. $10 a month, nothing really changes, but we do thank you specifically. So MJ, who are we thanking for this month?
We're thanking our sidecast fanatics, Shane Curry, Philip Gregard, Jarrett Collian, Henrik Wilberg, and Alexander Batten.
We appreciate you guys so much. I know I say that like that all the time. You know, hey, you know, if you guys ever have any topics for us, you know, feel free to send them. I mean, more priority for the patrons, but, you know, if you guys want to DM us, that works out, too.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys. Oh, Spencer, are you going to say something? You look like
I just said, I agreed. Like, let us know if there's anything you want us to talk with.
Your mouth was pursed so slightly, you know?
Maybe I should, you know, we were messing with the eye contact thing. There should be a filter that makes it look like your mouth is always open.
Yeah. Permanent soy face.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to turn the eye contact thing on for the last couple of seconds.
All right. We'll see you guys. It's gross. We'll see you guys next time.
It's not working anymore. Hold on. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Now it's working.